pretty right. From early morning to real late at night. It's looking pretty good today. The dark clouds are rolling away. And it's shining bright. And I think it's gonna be okay. Well, it's starting to feel good again. You and me.
Good morning from beautiful southeast Oklahoma. Welcome to Flyover News. Yes, we are Flyover News. Man, it's been cold down here. We've had rain off and on, not a lot, not inches and inches, but just drizzly, cold rain. Finally got a pretty day, but we're headed for super cold. We're headed for 0 degrees tonight, and it's been down in the 20s, teens and 20s, so I guess we're gonna get super cold, but not got a lot done. We got a few things done, doing a lot of planning. We had one bid on putting new tin on our building, and man, it seemed awful expensive. So I've got another guy coming to give us a second bid, and he's done some work for some people I know. He's gonna give us a second bid today, and we'll see. We're gonna have it tinned either way, but I'd like to not spend any more than we have to. But anyway, we're doing some strategizing out there, and we've done some work around it a little bit, and a little bit of work on the pond. But let's go out to the building. I'll walk you out to the building, and I'll show you what we're thinking about now. Yeah, I know, I'm getting old when I drive out to the barn. Not like it's all that far. Okay, so the fire girl and I got our fence all put back together. That's kind of a long story, but you know, that fence, you take that down, and it was, you know, constructed 50, 60 years ago with, you know, metal pipe in the ground, weld some brackets on, and then bolt through, drill holes through the brackets and through the wood. Well, if you don't have all that stuff numbered, so everything goes in the exact right place, none of the bolt holes are going to hit. So we had to bought a bunch of new bolts and did a bunch of new drilling, and we got it. So we hung this gate here, and it's going to be pretty good. Put a little bit of fence up there. Eventually I'm going to put fence all the way over to there. So we'll have that fenced off and be able to tie the gate off. But I don't want to put the fence up until they're through putting tin on. It's just something for them to walk around. So we're going to leave it for a little bit before we do that. So if we go inside here, you know, I've thought a lot about what I want to do here. First thing I'm going to do is put a regular door on the outside of this, a nice outside door, 36-inch door. So we go in, and you know, it's an old school barn, and it's got some low beams. I'm 6 feet tall, and I hit my head on this beam right here if I don't duck. I don't mind the low beams over here because you're not going to walk through there. It's just into the stalls, you know. So I think I'm going to take this beam out. So when this was built, Fire Girl's dad built this, you know, it's a hay barn, and it had hay. It's got a hay loft above it. So he built it extra sturdy to hold hay. So it's got 2 rows of these beams like that. I mean, and that's wood that was made. That's 2-inch thick. It's not like you buy now at 1.5 inches. And so they're actual 2 by actual 8s. And so they're 2 thick, old pole, 2 side by side. So it's an old pole barn, poles ever so often. And so it's got these, and then it's got 2 by 8s sitting on top of them. And so, you know, it's got a lot of support, and it makes sense because it's gonna stack a lot of hay up there. But we're not gonna put hay up there. I don't think anyone else is ever gonna put hay up there. If they do, I guess they can support it. So I think I'm gonna take these supports out, and then if nothing else, I can walk under this part without any trouble. But we're talking about taking all of it out, all the supports, cutting these supports off, like right here, like right in there, so that, you know, as you look back at it, we would have roofing over this part, and this part would go all the way up to this part would go all the way up. Take the flooring out here, take all these beams out, and then it would be open, you know, nice open space. and clean this thing up a little bit. We're gonna put new wood on it, you know, clean it up inside after we've had it tinned, re-tinned, redo the electric. And you know, this area here would be about almost 13 from here to here, almost 13, and then this is more that way. It's probably 15 that way. So that'd be pretty good. And then if you walk through here, once you got to this part, then you'd have the beams again and the roof, because it goes out over here. We want to keep that part covered out there. So I think that's our plan. It's gonna be a lot of work. That stuff's been in there 60 years. Big old nails, you know. It's not screwed either. They didn't screw stuff together back then, so I have to crowbar, chainsaw, start cutting it all out is what I think my plan is. It'll be a lot better. We'll leave the poles, obviously, but it'll be good. We'll redo all this. See, I mean, that's old. But I think we can fix it up so that it's a lot more usable, a lot cleaner inside, easier to keep clean, and be in good shape. Let's go look up in the hayloft a second. Still got some hay here from when we were feeding one of our steers that have been chewed on. See if we can get that out of the way. Okay, let's go up in the hayloft here. Okay, I've just climbed up in here. So first thing is, no, I can't stand up in here. It's about 5 feet tall in the center. Obviously it goes over like this, and you can see it's a lot of good wood up here. But what we're talking about doing is cutting from about right here over toward that door, all the way to the door and over in that corner, and taking all of that flooring out all the way to right there. So it's just a nice big piece. Take that flooring out, and then when we came in through the door, there'd be no roof, but we could throw things up over there if we wanted to. But you know, we're just not going to use this to put hay in anymore. We may put some stuff up here to store, but it's still pretty solid. I'm walking okay on it, but we're going to cut that out. So you can see this little hay barn's still in really good shape, and we'll fill all that in. The roofs were different pitched, so that's going to cause them. See that this is the pitch on the hay barn, and then as opposed to this other pitch that was on the old 1962 barn. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. I think it's going to be a project, but and so that door, we're just going to tin over that. The door will still be there. If anyone ever wants to cut a hole in the tin and use that door, you know, it'd be power to them, but we're not going to. Okay, back down from the hayloft. Yeah, that's our plan. And the boards, it's even pieced together pretty good. So I can just start taking these boards off right here, and on this way, everything over there, take all that out, and it'll be open all the way to the roof. That's a good idea. That's what we're gonna do. Well, we've had some more rain, so about an inch, and so the water runs from the ditches along both sides of the road. That's kind of a low spot, and then I've got it where it channels this way, and you can see it runs on in to the pond. So that's what we're using to get water in the pond, because otherwise it's just going to catch whatever, you know, rains in it, and the way it's bermed up, and that's not going to be very fast. So we're letting it run in. Seems to be doing pretty good. I'm getting closer to full, and I'm thinking about making a spot right over here by that stump. Yeah, that focus is kind of hard when you point. Like right over by that stump, and see if I can make that the lowest spot. The water will run out, and then it'll run on down like it used to, down through the pasture and into the branch creek back there. So it's all good. Still got a massive pile of trees on the other side, but this is getting close to full, and so far it's doing what I want it to do. We'll just have to see if it continues to. Yeah, I've got room right there, so I can pull up right here with the tractor. That right there is wider than the bucket on the tractor. I could get a whole bucket width right there and just scoop it. You can see it's pretty low right there by this, so I could just scoop this off right here, leave it about 8 inches, let it come up a little bit, and still have some room down there. Right there's a low spot, and I got a low one over there, and then I've got that. So that's all about really where I want it. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'll scoop it down, leave it just a little bit above the water, and I'll just pull it out this way. It'll be easy with the tractor. Probably tear the pasture up getting it here, but it's all right. Yeah, right there. I'll open that up. It'll come away from that tree, come right out this way. Okay, that turned into a big deal. It was soft right there. I about got the tractor stuck 2 or 3 times, but we got it drug out, and then we ended up with a shovel and a rake. We've raked that so that water's got to come up about 10 inches, is what I'm guessing, and then it's going to flow out this way and on out. And it's out there, everything is lower than the dam. So we've capped it. It won't run over back there, I don't think. This is about a bucket wide, pretty close. Maybe not quite. Be nice if I had rocks in there, but it's too wet. It's too muddy. The tractor just tears it up right now. And it was raining just a minute ago, but it stopped. So we'll see what we can do. But it's filling up nicely. We had a little rock over here we were watching, so we could tell how full it was, and the rock's completely underwater. So this is doing good. And to be honest, this is just about where I'd like for it to be all the time. If it was a little fuller, it wouldn't hurt anything, but I don't want it a lot. It's just pretty good shape. We're just about right. You know, sometimes you just got to feel this thing to know for sure where you're at on it. Transit and all, but it's, you know, there's nothing like seeing it with water in it. Little Branch Creek is running real hard across our concrete spillway behind the house. We've had a lot of rain, a lot of water, especially up on the mountains that are to the north of us, and so it all runs down till it gets to the main creek eventually. Running over pretty hard, isn't it?
It is. It's got quite a current going over it.
Our creek flows into it, so whenever that's up like that and it's streaming down through there, it backs all the little creeks that flow into it up.
I've seen it when there were paddle boats out here and the water was going over like that, and the paddle boats would get too close and they would get stuck on the dam and couldn't paddle away. It was really scary. And then I've seen a couple of high school boys that were in my class go down that, slid down it by accident because they were walking across it, and all they had on was a pair of swim trunks, and they were pretty boogered up before they got to the top.
It got them, huh?
Oh, it was messy.
Rainy days like this, about all you do is drive around, sightsee, and look at stuff, either on your place or in the neighborhood.
You can get out and do it.
Nah, it's all right. It's cold, windy out there. Firewood supply's done pretty good. This right side is our newest wood. We really need to not burn it until next year. And we've got some more that's kind of new we'll cut and put on this side. We got a couple of down trees we can cut up to augment this. So we're down to this much. We got 2 stacks of that's 8 feet wide. That should get us through the end of the year. But like I said, we've got a couple of down trees that have been down for long enough. We can cut them up and burn them this year if we need to. So did good. We're going to come out all right this year, and we'll see if we can get some more started. So if it's not one thing, it's always another. This is right here by this old RV shed. This is a tree that we had cut down from if you saw it on the last video. And it's pretty good size, you know, it's 36 inches across it maybe. But before it went down, I noticed our fence got torn up. So this fence originally went all the way down through there, and then they came back and built this RV shed in front of it. And so I don't know if you can see, there's a big tree there that came down. It's kind of in the shadows. And it came down and broke the fence. So probably just cut it in 2. I don't really need that fence up in there. Can't get to it anyway, so it's not keeping anything in. But we'll have to cut it in 2 here, piece it back together. We'll cut it right there at that post, and we'll keep it good this here and this way, here, all through there, but we won't worry about what's behind it. That's just always something that, you know, falls, trees fall, it's always something to fix. Got another broke board right up here. Have to work on that. Just kind of using this time before this cold weather comes in to get an assessment on everything. Have to replace that board. And then I've got one down here that I patched one time. I've got some better boards now, so I'm gonna repair that too, take that apart and fix that good. Then eventually, when they're all done with the barn, we'll come back and we'll put a better fence in across here, similar to what we got down there, and fix this all up where it works a little better and get it in good shape. I'm kind of just waiting on the tin. I hate to, you know, you don't want to do anything permanent until they come through and they're out of your hair, and then you can come back and make it like you want it. So I know I've mentioned this is a property line fence for us, and the part over there is owned by the Choctaw tribe, Choctaw Nations. And, you know, there's an oil and gas well way back up in there, but nobody ever does anything with this. We got some of it cleaned out, and they dropped the big tree that was against the barn that went out this way. And they'd worked with the Choctaw tribe, but you can see there's one, it's a dead pine tree, it goes way up. And then there's another one back behind it, right in there, it's dead. And then there's another one here that's dead. And so, you know, I guess you stand around waiting to see if they're gonna fall or come across your fence like everything else does. Or you go cut it down. The tribe's not gonna come out and do anything to it. So I guess, you know, without saying anything, I mean, they've been dead too long, they're not worth anything, you know, to have it harvested. They're not harvestable. So is that a word? Harvestable? So anyway, I guess I'm going to, at some point, go over and try to drop them out that way, away from the fence, and that one too, and call it good. See if as long as they don't come down this way. I probably should do that before I get tin put on the barn, but we'll see what happens. Looks like the fire girl is about ready to fire up the carbon renewable facility. This was where we renew carbon. You know, carbon gets trapped in all this stuff, and as we this facility, this high-tech facility, frees that carbon up so that it can be reused in other things. Here we go. We're firing up the facility right now. Trying to. There it goes. Yeah, here at the K&J Apocalypse Ranch, we are a big fan of renewables. So we are renewing carbon. That's our OSHA-approved safety device. So the fire girl has decided that maybe she doesn't like all of this stuff, the implements here. She hasn't come out and said that, but I've known the fire girl a long time. She's beginning to suggest that I build a little building right over here, have to remove the carbon renewable facility and come up with a new location, but she's talked about a little implement shed right there. I don't know, that's not really where I want one, but that doesn't mean I won't build one there at some point. But I think she's tired of the implements sitting around out here. News update. Now she is telling me that that's not the case. She does not mind them sitting there, but she just thinks that I could get them out of the weather with the little facility. So I'm still getting used to the camera on the new cell phone. I mean, it works pretty good, but it does some things periodically that I don't understand and would just assume that it didn't do probably, but I'm getting used to it.